Hi, I'm Dr. Robert Moore, and I want to talk with you about energy, about how being overweight affects your energy, why you may be tired all the time, why you're snacking all the time, and why you're actually having a hard time going to sleep, or you need more sleep. You're just fatigued, you try to sleep, you can't sleep, you're hungry all the time, and you just don't have the energy to do things. Well, everything in your body, every action, your heart pumping, your lungs breathing, a thought, wiggling my fingers, smiling takes energy to do. And so when my face is at rest, we call this your resting potential. There's a lot of potential in there, I'm just resting. It takes energy for those cells in my muscles and the nerves in my brain to coordinate all of this. It takes energy to trigger those cells to take action. And that action, in this case, is a smile. All right? Now, you know I can't smile all day, although I probably could try. I want to rest. I want to go to sleep. It actually takes energy to clean up the cell. As my cells are building up that energy to work, they're also building up, and there's a chemical exchange in through there in the cellular bodies that I don't want to keep that way because it keeps me energized. So if I want to rest, I have to clean up and change that cellular energy. And it's called sodium-potassium pump, but that takes energy. So it actually takes me energy for my cell to get back to this resting potential so that I can sleep. It takes energy to take action, to smile. It takes energy to get my cells to rest so that I can sleep. I'm smiling, I'm resting, I'm sleeping. And so what we find out is when we're overweight, those fat cells, they create something called an inflammatory cytokine 24/7. All day long, those fat cells, as they expand or they stay expanded, are making these cytokines floating around your body from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet, destroying everything that's good, aggravating everything that's bad, and stealing your energy. You store energy as opposed to utilize energy. So, I want to smile. So I get the energy to smile. I smile, but I don't have the energy to fully rest. So I sit down here, right about here. So now I'm not going to sleep. I don't have that potential, that energy to go to sleep. My cell is not at a resting state. So I come across something, I want to smile, and it doesn't take that much energy to get me to smile again. What you may feel this as numbness or paresthesia, a muscle twitch, too much acid in your stomach. You may feel it as a high heart rate, breathing issues. Those normal amounts of energy that it takes, X amount of energy that it takes to trigger your heart to pump is now this amount of energy. It's less energy. So you get these irregular heartbeats. You get these just difficulties because you're not resting, but now you're firing it up. And now, as we go through here and we do the action, now we come down here and we get this and we don't rest as well because we don't have the energy. And now, a little bit of energy, but we don't actually act as much either. And then we just get this little limbo. I like to call that the limbo area. We're not acting, we're not resting, we're not acting, and we're not resting. And what that means is we're not sleeping. So what do? We need energy. And so we snack. What are we typically snacking on? Quick energy is typically carbohydrates. Your potato chips, your candies, your sweets, your carbs, all of those things. You know, the popcorn and the chips late at night. We're snacking all that stuff. And what that does, it gives us some quick energy so that we have the energy to clean up this mess so we can go to sleep. And then we wake up in the middle of the night because that's all out of balance because these fat cells are creating these cytokines that are stealing this normal energy process and putting us back into limbo. We cannot act, we cannot rest. And that's why being overweight is so traumatizing to our body overall. Our metabolism gets affected from the inflammation from the cytokines that are being created as we're being overweight. So, if you'd like to talk with me about this, simply call our office 810-374-0304 And I'd be glad to talk with you about this. Hopefully this helped. What I want you to just understand, simply put, it takes energy to do something. It takes energy to rest. And if your energy cycle is messed up, you will do neither one. And so God bless you. Have a blessed day.